My boss said I'm replaceable. Then his empire collapsed without me.
Some people believe they're untouchable. Untouchable because they sit behind a fancy desk. Untouchable because they sign your paycheck. Untouchable because they think control equals power. My boss once looked me dead in the eye and said, "You're replaceable, remember that." But life and karma have a way of reminding arrogant men that the higher they stand, the harder they fall. And his fall started the moment he pushed me out. You're watching Real Life Karma TV. Let's begin.
I worked for a mid-sized logistics company. The kind where everything was held together with duct tape, grit, and people like me who learned to solve problems while the building was metaphorically burning. The company was chaotic, loud, unorganized, but I made it work. I built the routing system. I handled vendor negotiations. I trained the new hires. I saved the company more money than my own salary would ever reflect. And because of that, my boss, Victor, hated me. Not because I did anything wrong, but because I did things right. Because competence threatens insecure men. Victor wasn't a leader. He wasn't a mentor. He wasn't even a manager. He was a man in an overpriced suit with an ego that filled every room he walked into. He called himself the Empire, sometimes joking, sometimes not. And every time he did it, he'd look around expecting applause like a villain in a cheap movie. But people didn't clap. They swallowed their breath. They nodded politely. They feared him. Because Victor thrived on fear. He needed control the way other people needed oxygen.
It happened on a Monday. The kind that felt heavy before the sun even came up. I walked into the office with a coffee in hand, carrying the weight of yet another week of fixing other people's mistakes and doing the work of 3 departments by myself. Victor was already pacing the floor. That was never a good sign. When Victor paced, someone was about to be humiliated. He saw me the moment I stepped in. "You, office, now." No greeting, no courtesy. Just the bark of a man who believed the world owed him obedience. I stepped inside. He didn't offer a seat. He didn't look at me. He didn't even breathe normally. His ego had entered the room 10 seconds before he did. On his desk was a report. My report. The one I'd spent 3 weeks building, fixing the routing disaster left behind by the last manager he'd fired. He flicked the folder open with 2 fingers, like it disgusted him. "This report is good," he said. "Too good." He looked up, and the next words dripped like acid. People who become valuable start thinking they're irreplaceable, and I can't have that. Not here. The room felt colder. The fluorescent lights buzzed louder. Even my heartbeat sounded different. "You seem confused," Victor said. "So let me make this simple. You're replaceable. And I'm going to prove it." There was no warning, no write-up, no conversation. Just arrogance wrapped in a suit. He fired me. On the spot. In under 45 seconds. Not because I failed, not because I messed up, but because I succeeded. And Victor couldn't stand success he didn't own.
Leaving that office felt like I was walking out of a life I spent years building. I boxed my things quietly, not because I was ashamed, but because humiliation has a way of muting even the strongest people. Coworkers whispered, sympathetic glances. Some wanted to help, but no one dared to stand up to Victor. Fear is a powerful leash. But as I stepped outside the building, sunlight hit my face, and something strange happened. I didn't feel defeated. I felt released, like I'd been holding my breath for years and finally exhaled. Still, a question haunted me. What now? I didn't know the answer. Not yet. What I did know was this. Victor felt invincible. He believed the company revolved around him. He believed losing me meant nothing. He believed I could be replaced like a burned-out light bulb. But what Victor didn't understand was that everything holding his empire together wasn't him. It was me. And when the wrong person walks away, an empire can fall without a single push.
2 days after I was fired, I got a text from an old coworker. Something's wrong here. Your replacement, he doesn't know anything. I stared at my phone for a minute, not with satisfaction, not with anger, just inevitability. You see, Victor didn't just remove an employee. He removed the person who fixed his routing system, saved his contracts, calmed down vendors he pushed away, and prevented disasters he never even knew were coming. But here's the thing about arrogance. It blinds you. Victor genuinely believed I was a cog, a part, something he could swap out like a cheap battery. What he didn't realize was, I wasn't a part of his system. I was the system. By the end of that week, I got another message. Trucks delayed, shipments lost, new guy messed up dispatch. It wasn't even surprising. But karma wasn't done yet.
3 vendors pulled out. Drivers complained. Schedules clashed. Routes overlapped. And deliveries that were never late were now hours behind. Without my routing map, the entire logistics chain was collapsing like dominoes. Victor blamed everyone. The rookie, the drivers, the weather, even the computer system. Everyone except the real cause, his ego. By Friday, the office looked like a battlefield. Phones ringing nonstop, people shouting, customers furious. And Victor? He hid in his glass office, pretending everything was fine, refusing to admit that firing me was the first thread that unraveled his empire. But karma wasn't satisfied with a little chaos. It wanted a full collapse.
A week later, my phone rang from an unknown number. Normally, I ignore those calls, but something made me pick up. Hello? Is this Marcus? It was a competitor. One of the companies Victor always called amateurs and wannabes. But they sounded excited. We heard you're no longer with Victor's company. We want to talk. Today. Your reputation speaks for itself. I froze. My reputation? Victor always treated me like nothing. But out here, in the real world, people noticed my work. Even competitors. That alone
was its own kind of justice.
I walked into their office for the interview, expecting a tense, formal meeting. Instead, they greeted me like I was a missing piece they'd been searching for. They knew everything: the improved routes, the rescued accounts, the peak performance numbers that had no explanation, except me. One executive leaned in and said, "Victor's company ran better than anyone understood. We always wondered why. Now we know. We want you. Name your salary." I almost laughed. For years, Victor told me, "You're replaceable. You're overpaid. You're nothing without this company." Turns out here, I was worth far more than he ever imagined. I accepted the job with a salary so high, it made my old paycheck look like an insult. But karma wasn't done with Victor, not even close, because now I had access to industry data that showed something terrifying. Victor's numbers were crashing, and once clients lose trust, they don't come back. 2 weeks later, I heard the news. Victor lost his biggest contract, a 7-figure deal, gone overnight. Why? Because the rookie didn't understand compliance paperwork. He filed a submission incorrectly. A tiny mistake, a simple box unchecked, a detail I had always triple-checked. And that one box cost Victor everything. His biggest client terminated the deal instantly. The report said, "Operational instability and lack of qualified personnel." Qualified personnel, meaning me. Victor didn't fire an employee. He fired the foundation, and the building was crumbling.
I didn't expect what came next. A coworker messaged me. The rookie quit. Victor screamed at him, "Half the office is talking about your firing now, and people are saying Victor lied." Lied? I asked what they meant. Apparently, Victor told the board, "I fired Marcus because he was arrogant and unreliable." Unreliable? I worked 60-hour weeks, came in on days off, carried departments on my back. But that wasn't the lie that mattered. The lie that mattered was this: Victor told everyone he had trained my replacement personally. That the rookie was exceptional, highly capable, ready to take over. Except the rookie admitted Victor never trained him for even one day. Victor wasn't just incompetent, he was negligent. And negligence is the one word a logistics company cannot afford. Karma had pulled the first thread. Now it was ripping the entire tapestry apart.
By week 4, Victor's company wasn't just struggling, it was drowning. Drivers were quitting, vendors refusing contracts, customers demanding refunds. Truck routes were backed up so badly that deliveries were delayed by days, not hours. And the rookie? Gone. He left after Victor screamed at him in front of the entire warehouse, throwing a clipboard so hard it shattered against a metal shelf. But this wasn't the worst part. The worst part came when the Department of Transportation walked in for a surprise compliance audit. Something I had always prepared for. Something Victor never understood. Something the rookie didn't even know existed. And without my meticulous logs, without my organization, without the system I built, the audit was a massacre.
Violations everywhere. Missing driver hours logs, improper route documentation, GPS discrepancies, unfiled maintenance reports. Things I used to handle automatically. Victor tried to blame the rookie, but the rookie wasn't even there to defend himself. So Victor blamed the drivers, then blamed the software, then blamed the auditors. But in the end, the report had only one conclusion. This company lacks qualified operational management. Operational management meaning me. Victor didn't just lose a manager, he lost compliance. He lost credibility. He lost the only thing keeping him legal. And that's when karma shifted from chaos to destruction.
At 9:42 a.m. on a Thursday, my phone rang again. This time, I recognized the number. Victor. I stared at the screen for a full 10 seconds. I should have declined. I should have let him sweat. I should have let the silence punish him. But something in me, curiosity maybe, wanted to hear how far he'd fallen. I answered. "Marcus?" His voice cracked. The confident, booming tone he once had was completely gone. We need to talk. Not, I need you. Not, I'm sorry. Not even, hello. Just desperation, wrapped in pride. "What is it?" I asked, calmly. He inhaled through his nose, shakily. "We're facing issues. Minor issues. But you know the system better than anyone. Could you come in? Just for a bit? As a consultant?" Consultant? He fired me like trash, humiliated me, told me I was replaceable. Now he wanted to consult me. "What's the problem?" I asked. There was silence on the line. The kind of silence that only happens when a man's ego is being strangled by reality. Finally, he whispered, "Everything." I shouldn't have gone, but part of me needed closure. When I arrived, the chaos was visible before I even stepped inside. Trucks backed up outside, drivers smoking, cursing, pacing. Stacked pallets blocking the loading dock. The smell of diesel and stress mixed in the air. Inside the office, papers everywhere, phones ringing endlessly, employees arguing like the whole building was on fire. And Victor, once the self-proclaimed empire, looked like a ghost in a suit, hair disheveled, tie crooked, eyes hollow. He pulled me into his office, the same office where he fired me with a smirk. But now, there was no smirk, only fear. "Marcus, I need your help. We're losing everything." I looked around. The office was a mess of reports, warnings, red envelopes. "How long has it been like this?" I asked. Victor swallowed. "Since you left." And there it was. The truth he refused to admit. The truth karma forced him to say. "Why are you telling me this?" His voice cracked again. Because I didn't realize how important you were.
For years, Victor towered above me. He controlled my salary, my hours, my workload, my future. But now, standing in his collapsing office, with his empire crumbling around him, he looked up at me the way a drowning man looks at a lifeguard. And for the first time in my life, I felt power. Real power. Not the kind from shouting, not from fear, not from control. Power from value, from truth, from karma balancing the scales. "What do you want?" he asked quietly. 5 words. 5 words I never thought I'd hear from the man who once called me replaceable. I took a slow breath. "Victor, you fired me because you thought you didn't need me." He didn't speak. He couldn't. "And now you want me back because you realize you do." Victor nodded, eyes lowering in humiliation. But I wasn't done. "You didn't fire me for being arrogant. You fired me because my competence exposed your incompetence." The truth hit him like a punch to the ribs. He gripped the edge of his desk to steady himself. "Marcus, please, tell me what to do."
Victor sat across from me, the same way he used to during evaluations, except now he wasn't the one evaluating me. "You want my help?" I asked. "Yes," he whispered. "Then I want it in writing." His eyebrows lifted. "A full consulting contract. My rate, my hours, my terms." He hesitated. The Victor I once knew would have thrown a tantrum, shouted, laughed in my face. But this Victor, this broken, humbled version, he nodded immediately. "I'll sign anything." For a moment, I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. But then I remembered his words, "You're replaceable." So I pushed further. "I want back pay for the work I did that kept this company afloat." He didn't argue. "I want acknowledgement to the board that firing me was your mistake." He lowered his head. "And I want my own team if I agree to fix this." He squeezed his hands together. "Done. All of it. Done." I stared at him, this shell of a man who once believed he was an empire. And I realized karma wasn't just punishing him. It was teaching him. Victor gathered the office staff for a mandatory meeting, not to fire anyone, not to scold anyone, not to brag, but to announce that I, Marcus, was returning as a consultant. Some employees cheered quietly, some clapped openly, some sighed in relief, because they knew things worked when I was here. Victor cleared his throat. "I made a mistake firing Marcus, a serious one. He was essential to this company, and we need him to restore stability." Hearing Victor admit that publicly was like watching a mountain crack. His pride crumbled right in front of everyone, and that, more than any paycheck, was my vindication. Karma hitting in real time. For the next few days, I worked through the true extent of the damage. Route broken, logs incomplete, maintenance records missing, customer complaints piling up, drivers ready to quit. It was worse than Victor had admitted. But fixing systems was always my strength. I rebuilt everything.
New spreadsheets, new chains of command, new dispatch charts, new compliance documentation. Slowly, the chaos started to settle. But during that process, I discovered something shocking. In a folder marked Urgent, Do Not Open, I found letters from vendors dated weeks before I was fired. Letters warning Victor that without me, they would reconsider contracts. He hid them, denied them, lied about them. He knew I wasn't replaceable. He just didn't want to admit it. Karma wasn't done.
3 weeks into my consulting role, something unexpected happened. A major corporate partner, one Victor desperately depended on, requested a meeting. Victor panicked. "Marcus, you need to come with me." We walked into the boardroom. The partner's representatives sat with folders, tablets, and very cold expressions. One of them leaned forward and said, "We've analyzed your last quarter. Your performance nosedived after your operational manager was terminated." Victor flinched. "And now that he's returned, we see stability again." They turned to me. "Marcus, were you the one maintaining these systems before your dismissal?" As Victor slowly lowered his head, I answered, "Yes." The representative nodded. "In that case, we will only continue our partnership if Marcus oversees compliance and operational planning." Victor's face drained of all color. His empire no longer listened to him. His power no longer mattered. His future no longer depended on him. It depended on me. After the meeting, Victor pulled me aside. He looked pale, exhausted, defeated. They chose you over me." I didn't respond immediately. I let the silence settle between us. Finally, I said, "No, Victor, they didn't choose you over me. They chose competency over insecurity." He swallowed hard, eyes glassy. "I never should have fired you." I corrected. "You didn't fire me. You fired the only thing keeping your empire from collapsing." He said nothing, because there was nothing left to say.
That night, I sat in my apartment thinking about everything. Victor's collapse, my rise, the karmic balance. Should I stay and rebuild the company I once carried? Or should I leave and let Victor face the ruin he created? My phone buzzed. It was the competitor who hired me weeks ago. "Marcus, we want to offer you a senior operations director position. Full benefits, your own team, your own department, your own future." It was the opportunity of a lifetime, and it made my choice easy. The next morning, I walked into Victor's office one last time. He looked up, hopeful. "Marcus, are you ready to continue today's rebuild?" I placed the folder on his desk. "What's this?" he asked. "My resignation." His face went blank, as if the air left his lungs. No, Marcus, you can't leave." Not now. I already have another position, I said calmly. One that recognizes my value. He stood up abruptly. I'll double your contract rate. He paused. Triple. I shook my head. This isn't about money, Victor. This is about respect. He collapsed into his chair like a man watching his world sink into the ocean. Marcus, please. His voice cracked. I can't do this without you. I stepped toward the door. I know. And you should have realized that before karma had to teach you. 2 months after I left, the news spread. Victor's company filed for bankruptcy. Drivers left. Contracts gone. Reputation destroyed. Some blamed the economy. Some blamed the industry. But those who knew the truth knew it was something much simpler. Victor fired the wrong man. Today, I oversee an entire operations department for a company that actually values me, in a way Victor never could. My paycheck is bigger, my stress is lower, and my dignity restored. Sometimes I drive past Victor's old building. It's empty now. Dust gathering on the windows, doors chained shut. The company sign, long gone. An empire, reduced to silence. All because of one choice. All because of one sentence. You're replaceable. But karma doesn't forget words like that. It waits, it watches, and when the moment is right, it comes back to remind people exactly who was replaceable and who never was.
If this story hit deep, if someone ever underestimated you, replaced you, lied to you, or took your hard work for granted, share your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. And if you have a real story of betrayal, injustice, workplace chaos, or the moment karma finally came full circle, and you want it to be featured in a future episode, send your story to reallifekarmatv@gmail.com. Tap like, drop a comment, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs a reminder that karma is always watching, and it always delivers.